Welcome back, guys, to the Side Hustle Startup Podcast. Every Thursday, coming to you on iTunes, IGTV, Facebook, Instagram. Now, if you are listening to this on iTunes, you will catch this a couple of days later than other people. If you prefer to listen to this on the go, that's great. Keep listening to this on iTunes. You'll probably get this, though, on a Saturday. Because iTunes takes a couple of days to update on the podcasting network, IGTV, you'll see this in video format. So make sure you do head over to @JamesFostero on all social platforms and follow me there. And again, on Facebook, you'll get informative content on Facebook, articles, useful information, and then YouTube, you'll find long form content. On IGTV, I'm limited to 10 minutes. So this is a 10 minutes podcast maximum only, just for that reason. So if you're wondering James, why don't you do longer videos? I can't, unless you head over to YouTube. Make sure you do subscribe to me there. Now, in this podcast, if you are unfamiliar with what we discuss in this podcast, we try and get your money in a good place. We try and increase your income, not by working harder, but by working smarter and creating multiple streams of income. Now, not many people get rich from one source of income. That's just a fact. You look at any successful person, they will tell you, they'll give you the blueprint that you need multiple streams of income. So I wonder why people aren't doing so. Now, in this case, I am looking to help you create multiple streams. I'm looking to add one stream to start with, give you the information just to try and create a secondary source. Then once you've got a flavour and you've got that on a consistent basis, you can look to maximise that and create a third source, a fourth source, fifth source, and then sooner or later you'll be surprised at where you're at and how simple it actually is to do so. Now, in this podcast, I am going to ask you a question. Now, what are your thoughts on failure? What are your thoughts on failing at anything? Now, I know a lot of people that hate to fail, that they will tell stories only when they have succeeded, and it's like a gambling addict. They'll only tell you when they've won. They won't tell you about the 10 times they've lost before that. It's the same thing with business, the same thing with entrepreneurship, the same thing with creating multiple streams of income. You have to fail, and what if I told you that you can fail your way to success? And I am completely open about failing. I fail every day at many things. Now, you can look at that through a different lens, and you can say that failure, as long as you learn from failure, that's absolutely fine. If you keep failing at the same thing over and over again, and just because you're telling yourself, I'm not failing, and tell everybody that I'm a winner, and people know you're a fucking loser, because nobody believes you when you keep saying you're winning at everything. People know you are a loser. You're a loser. I'm telling you that straight. You are a loser if you tell everybody you win. And you have to fail your way to success. You have to learn. The same as when you were born. You didn't born knowing English. You weren't born knowing maths. You had to learn, and to do so you had to get it wrong a couple of times. It's the same with business, and if you're not willing to fail, you won't win. Now, I'll also link this video in the description on YouTube, on IGTV. So on iTunes, if you are listening to this, I will also link this as well in the show notes. But there's a video by Bill Gross, and he tells us about a study reviewing 5 factors in successful companies. There's 200 companies, and there were 5 factors, and these 5 factors were timing, execution, idea, business model, and funding. Now, when you think of a business, most people's excuse is I don't have money. When in this study, money was the most insignificant factor in a company's success. Money's accessible. You go and promote yourself. You go and try and raise money from an investor that has money, and your idea is great. It's timed correctly. You got the right people to execute. It's a good idea, and there's a great business model. They aren't going to be afraid to give you the money. Fact. Okay? So don't say I don't have the money, because that's BS. But in this study, they found that timing was the most important to have. Timing, execution, idea. Most people think they have to create and craft the best idea. They spend so much time on the idea that they don't focus on the other areas. When the idea is, again, one of the least important factors. Now, if you haven't seen the video yet, this is a bit of a spoiler alert, but the most important factor was timing and execution, which makes sense because if you take Uber 10 years ago, when the technology weren't there, or the technology was just forming and the iPhone had just been released and not everybody had an iPhone, the timing would have been poor. But now everybody wants speed, accessibility, personalization. In some cases you can have UberX, where you can have more of an executive vehicle, I believe. I'm not an Uber fanatic, but yeah, the timing was great. So what can we learn from this in this Side Hustle Startup podcast? What I can learn from this, and I think you should take from this, is something that I've been saying for a long time. And if you're in the 7-day startup program, the Side Hustle Startup program, you'll see that one of the lessons that we teach in that program, that's open only every 12 months, and only 100 people are allowed into that program because I work one-on-one with people, is that we encourage you to validate your idea as soon as possible. Don't get emotionally attached to the idea. Validate the idea, because it's not for you, it's for the customer. It's for your ideal avatar customer. So there's a second reason for that. It's because you haven't, one, time is money. So you haven't put as much time into it. If you find that out 2 years later, you've invested 2 years of time. Yeah, James, but I've only spent £100 or £1,000 on this idea. No, you spent £1,000 in 2 years of your life. So fail quick and fail cheap. So validate that idea ideally. Hence the program, 7-day Side Hustle Startup program, is to fail within 7 days, or validate the idea and scale within 7 days. Most people are still thinking the business name after 7 days, whereas this, you focus on failing fast and failing cheap. And this video backs up, provides clear confirmation that these top 200 companies that were analysed by Bill Gross, is that timing was the most important, and you can find that out as soon as possible. So validate your idea, don't create an emotional connection, and fail your way to success. If it takes you 10 times to fail, then that's taking you 10 weeks if you do it in a week. If you can validate the idea within a week, as soon as possible, get a minimal viable product out on the market, get people's opinion. Maybe you need to craft it for longer, and that's fine. But if you're taking such a long period of time, that time could be gone, and timing is everything, as you can see from this. So if you can learn anything from today, put your pride to one side, don't be proud, fail your way to success. And if you sat there saying, I'm a winner, I'm a winner, I'm a winner, no, everyone thinks you're a loser, you're a loser, you're a loser. So be real, be honest, and fail your way to success. I'll catch you next Tuesday for the 1% Club podcast as well. Make sure you do follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all social platforms at James Fostero. And I'll catch you soon, guys. Hope that's been useful. Make sure you do leave comment, like, and share if you know anybody else that may like this content. I'll catch you soon.